Hello students, I hope that you all are enjoying online learning in last video we were discussing about cross price effect, and cross price effect, it means the effect of change in price of related goods on a particular commodity. And in the continuity of that topic we have discussed about change in price of substitute goods on a commodity, and today it's a time to discuss about change in price of complementary goods. Complementary goods, for these goods I'm taking example car and petrol. And suppose that the price of car remains constant. In that condition, if the price for the petrol will change, maybe it will decrease or it will increase. So first we are taking the condition that there is increase in the price of a petrol or of a complementary good. Then what will happen with a particular commodity? So I have taken some assumptions like price of car, it remains constant. I suppose that the price of car remains constant, and but there will be change in the price of petrol, okay, and it will increase. The price of petrol will increase. In that condition, a consumer can't afford to have a car, as the fuel which is to be used in the car, that is petrol, the prices for petrol are increasing. So the demand for the car will reduce. And all this thing I will explain with the help of a diagrammatic presentation. On x-axis we have taken demand for cars, on y-axis we have taken price for the car, and we are assuming the price for car remains constant. With constant price, the previous demand curve is D before any change in the price of its complementary good, that is petrol. So the demand curve is DD, and on this demand curve consumer is on point A. At this point, at the price of P, that is constant, the consumer is demanding, in the market the consumers are demanding OQ. This is the demand for the commodity. Okay, but as the price for the petrol is increasing, okay, so with the increase in the price, it will be costlier for consumers to hold a car or to afford a car, because fuel is going to be expensive. That's why the demand for the cars will reduce in the market, and the new demand curve shifts to the origin, and the new demand curve is D dash, and now consumer will be on point B, because the price remains constant, and now he is demanding, consumers are demanding Q1. The demand for the cars is reduced by Q2, Q1. Okay, this is called the cross price effect over demand for a car, because of increase in price of petrol. I think you understood the concept for increase in complementary goods price. Once again, I will explain. We assume or suppose that price of car remains constant, but we will consider change in price of petrol, and there will be increase in the price of petrol. If price of petrol will increase, in that condition कार चलाना consumers के लिए, common person के लिए महंगा हो जाता है, and that's why consumer market के अंदर कार की जो demand है it will reduce. Okay, so this is the demand curve for the car, DD, initial demand curve, and we assumed that the price is PC and the demand for car in consumer market is Q, OQ. But because of increasing in the price of petrol, the demand for the car is reduced, and new demand curve is D dash, and now consumer is shifted from A to B point, because the price remains constant. So consumer has to follow, or he will move on this line only, because price is constant. So consumer will be on B, and on this point, with the same price of car, the demand for car is reduced, and this is OQ1. Now we can easily observe that the demand for this product car is reduced from Q to Q1. This is decrease in demand for car because of increase in price of petrol. Next condition which we discuss here, that is decrease in price of complementary good, and we are taking petrol as the complementary good of car. Okay, so suppose, as in the prior condition, we suppose that price of car remains constant, PC, that is constant price for car, and the constant is showing, the price for constant is showing by a bar sign over the symbol of price. But we are assuming that price of petrol will decrease. If the price of petrol will decrease, it means to afford a car for a consumer, it will be it will be cheaper, because the fuel which is to be used in the car, that will be available at a less rate, at a lesser rate. That's why the demand for the car, it will rise. The demand for car will rise. Okay, so we can easily understand that with reduction in the price of complementary good, there will be increase in the demand of a commodity. And this will be explained with the help of a graphical presentation. In this graph, on x-axis we have taken demand for car, on y-axis we have taken prices, and price for car remains constant. This price will be shown by a straight line, and DD is the initial demand curve for the consumer. Okay, on this demand, consumers in the consumer market are demanding Q quantity for the cars. Okay, but we assumed that the prices for petrol is reduced, and because of reduction in the price, there will be rise in demand. So at the same price, the demand for car will rise, but the price for car, it is constant. That's why consumer will remain on this same line, and the new demand curve will be shifted from DD to D dash, D dash, and he shifts from A to B. On this point, consumer will demand the Q1 quantity of cars. Okay, and here we can easily observe that the demand for cars is rising from Q to Q1, and this is all this is because of reduction in the price of complementary good.